Well, look who's back for another deep dive into all things Iran. Episode 27 already. Crazy, right?
It is, isn't it? Time flies when you're unearthing fascinating bits of Iranian culture.
That's for sure. I'm Kiyu Mars, by the way.
And I'm Tannaz.
And recently, we've been knee-deep in the world of folklore and myths. Even dipped our toes into cryptozoology a bit.
Yeah, exploring all those fantastical creatures and stories. Remember the manticore?
How could I forget? But today, we're shifting gears a little, heading out to sea.
Oh, this sounds intriguing.
It is. We're going to tackle a maritime mystery that's been haunting the Iranian coast for ages. The Ghorab Jendoon.
The ghost ship. I've heard whispers of this one. What's the story?
Well, it comes straight from the sailors themselves, especially those sailing around Bandar Abbas, Hormozgan, Minab, those areas. And let me tell you, when sailors, people who face real dangers at sea, start telling spooky tale.
You know it's gotta be something serious. They've seen it all, haven't they? Storms, rough seas, you name it.
Exactly. So when they describe this eerie ship, the Ghorab Jendoon, it really makes you wonder.
So paint us a picture. What are these sailors seeing?
Picture this crocus. You're on deck, sun's setting, casting that kind of golden glow over everything. You've got the salty air, gentle rocking of the waves, all seems peaceful, and then off in the distance, you spot it.
The ghost ship.
Yep, a massive ship, unlike any other. And the weirdest part, it's glowing.
Glowing? Like how?
With these strange lights, like strings of pearls against the darkening sky. Seriously eerie stuff.
Wow, I can see why that would freak anyone out. But it's more than just the sight of the ship, right? I remember reading about this strange feeling that washes over those who see it.
Absolutely. A sudden, overwhelming sense of dread, like this thing is going to ram right into them, capsize their vessel. And that fear is so powerful, so visceral, some sailors have been known to jump overboard.
Seriously. Into the sea. That just shows you the kind of primal terror this Ghorab Jendoon inspires. They'd rather risk the depths than face that ship.
Exactly. Makes you think, doesn't it? And this isn't just some isolated story. Ghost ships pop up in maritime folklore all over the world.
It's true. Every seafaring culture seems to have its own version, right? I guess it makes sense, though. The ocean is vast, unpredictable, full of unknowns. It's like a breeding ground for these kinds of supernatural tales.
Absolutely. But the Ghorab Jendoon has a few extra twists that make it even more unsettling.
Oh, like what?
Well, there's this thing about proximity, or rather the lack of it. Sailors say they can never actually reach the ship. It's always just out of reach.
Like a mirage. You think you're getting closer, but it always stays the same distance away.
Exactly. And then, poof, it just vanishes.
Vanishes, just like that.
Gone without a trace. Some people think this points to the jinn. Those supernatural beings in Islamic mythology.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. Shapeshifters, tricksters. Aren't they often associated with water, too?
Right. They're known for their illusions, their ability to manipulate perception. So maybe, just maybe, the Ghorab Jendoon is some kind of jinn trickery. Which is a pretty cool thought, right? Blending folklore with a little bit of the paranormal.
Absolutely. It adds another layer to the whole mystery.
He does, doesn't it? Hey, by the way, if any of you out there listening have heard similar stories, maybe from other cultures, definitely let us know in the comments. Always love to hear your thoughts. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. Helps us out a lot.
It does. And speaking of other possibilities, you mentioned cryptozoology earlier. Could there be a real-life creature lurking behind this legend?
It's a good question. Think about giant squid, for example. Those things can get huge.
I've seen pictures. They're like something out of a movie. And I think they've even been known to attack ships, right?
Yeah, so maybe, just maybe, exaggerated accounts of these encounters, fueled by fear and the darkness of the sea, somehow evolved into the myth of the ghost ship.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, folklore often blends reality and imagination.
It's a fascinating mix, isn't it? So, while the Ghorab Jendoon might not literally be a ghost ship sailing the seas,
The legend itself speaks volumes about real human fears, ancient beliefs, and the power of storytelling.
this deep dive has definitely left me with more questions than answers. Is the Ghorab Jendoon a collective hallucination, a jinn playing tricks, or maybe even inspired by a real creature? Guess the ghost ship will keep on sailing the seas of our imagination.
Until we uncover its true nature.
That's if we ever do.